Hey everybody, it's Sean, the What's Up Dude here. We are at the Morton Arboretum and we're gonna explore and have a little fun and see some beautiful sights along the way. This is Sean, the What's Up Dude. The first thing I see here is a giant squirrel. Things are getting a little nutty here, as you can see. And we're gonna head down a path right here. We are about to head into the Grand Garden area. The Grand Garden is a place of celebration and joy. It's dedicated in honor of Dr. Gerard T. Donnelly for his service as president and CEO of the Morton Arboretum from 1990 to 2022, and his vision to bring the diversity and beauty of plants to all. So this is just the center of the park. And we have a little circle with some commemorative things for the Morton Arboretum, celebrating 100 years of planting and protecting trees. This is Centennial Plaza, 1922 to 2022. The Morton Arboretum is an internationally recognized tree-focused botanical garden and scientific research center dedicated to healthier trees and communities. The Arboretum's living collections showcase 106,714 specimens, over 1,700 acres, and comprise one of North America's most comprehensive collections of trees and shrubs. What they do: nurture and displays trees and shrubs to environments conducive to their growth for people to enjoy, offer extensive educational programs for all ages, conduct leading research on tree health and tree improvement, breed and introduce hardy and disease-resistant trees and shrubs for distribution throughout the Midwest, preserve nature-related activities year-round for people of all ages and interests. The mission of Morton Arboretum is to collect, study, display, and conserve trees and other plants from around the world to inspire learning, foster enjoyment, benefit communities, encourage action, and enhance the environment. We are headed through a walkway to a different section, but you've got beautiful flowers, birds chirping, ton of trees, and little archways right here with some patterns on them. Back here, this is the reading garden. This is for the library. The library is closed, but one of the attendants in the area brought me back here to show you. And you could have like a little cafe lunch right here and enjoy the sights of the fountain and the tree. Right over here, they do have a little mini golf area that you can play around a mini golf with your kids. If you're here in the area with your children, go ahead and have some fun. Right here they do have a restaurant and also a cafe. You can visit the restaurant from 11 to 2, Monday to Friday, Saturday to Sunday 10 to 2, and the cafe is open 9 to 5. And they have plenty of options. They have breakfast and coffee. Right now I'm going to have a coffee before I do any more. If you get hot, you can also cool off with some refreshing beverages as well. All right, we're going to go through the maze garden and try to find our way out. Out of here. Hopefully we don't get lost. And you gotta watch out, there was a lot of rain the other day, so we gotta walk through the water. Don't want my shoes all soaking wet. Right here we do have some meadowlark forsythia. Should I go left or should I go right? I think I'm gonna go right. Hopefully I'm right. Down this way. Oh no, it looks like I hit a dead end, but we get to look at some north wind switchgrass on our way back. And there is the exit right there. I was able to find my way out of the maze and enter back into the rest of the park. We are entering into the children's garden, and we're gonna see a bunch of things that are entertaining for kids that are related to plants and the outdoors. Celebration Circle dedicated a brick in Celebration Circle, a new tribute area designed to celebrate children and families developing a love of trees and nature through play. This is the kids' tree walk. The tree-lined walk leads you into the children's garden. Each curbside walk along the path features a special tree with an interesting leaf shape. Which tree is your favorite and why? What kind of tree can you fit into your hand? Let's find out the answer. A palm tree! That's so funny. Why didn't the tree want to play checkers? He was a chestnut. Ha! And this is a white oak tree. What did one autumn leaf say to another? I'm falling for you. So funny. Children's garden, we do have a water fountain style ball that rotates. And we have the backyard discovery gardens. Fun and discover await you in the backyard. Look for familiar objects in the garden. How is it different from your backyard? How is it the same? And if you do get a little warm and toasty in the summertime, we just need to press this button and we can cool down. This is Adventure Woods. Have an adventure beyond the backyard. Nature is all around you as you play in the woods, grasslands, and the waterways. And here is the entrance to Adventure Woods. I can't go in here, but I'm gonna disobey the rule and go on up. And this little clubhouse area. For little kids, you can go through here and go through the bridges across to the other side. Probably shouldn't be doing this, but gonna try anyway. I just have to do 2 more and I'm clear. All right, last one. Get my head on the top. And we are out. Can you spare a speckle of honey for Winnie the Pooh? Question. Do you think you can make it across without stepping on the ground? If I didn't recently have my knee injury, I would give it a try. But if you come out here, give it a try, see what you're made of. Since it is a hot day, we are going to take the tour on the Acorn Express and save a little walking time and have a little shade so we can see the entire park since it is so massive. Before we get on on the tram. We are going to just quickly show you there is a walk that you can take, but it is hot, 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 so I don't think I'm going to do that right now. But you can enjoy the scenery and walk on the lake.
Okay. Well, I like to think of the Arboretum as the perfect combination of celebration and science. The Arboretum, we celebrate everything here. We celebrate camaraderie and friendship and community and biodiversity, nature. We celebrate music and art and booze even. So anything you want to celebrate, we celebrate here. It's a perfect place to come for a walk with a friend or just on your own for some nice solitude. We have a lot of, I think we're probably roughly 85% science. So I'm definitely going to point out a lot of the work that we do for science. We work very hard on conservation, climate change for our plants, and we have a lot of wonderful partnerships where we do a lot of great work, scientific work. The first thing we're going to point out here is our beautiful sculpture. This is Cadence, the sandhill crane. And you guys are so lucky because you're here when the sun is shining. You know, Cadence is fun to look at all times of the day because you'll see the shadow of her wings and her beak. Very cool. And you do get to see also Cadence now today. It's a great day for sky watching. So you see these beautiful clouds here. You'll see that reflection off the lake as well. So scientists believe that sandhill cranes have magnetic cells in either their eyes, their beaks, or their ears that help them migrate and navigate. You're going to see a great picture of the backside of her when we come back. And his father, Jay Sterling, also is the founder of Arbor Day, which is, of course, our favorite holiday here. Their family motto is plant trees. And that first Arbor Day in 1872, Jay Sterling organized the planting of 1 million trees across the state of Nebraska. And that really caught on, so it is celebrated worldwide today. Now, when Joy was 23, he decided to move to Chicago to seek his fortune. And he found that in the Morton Salt Company. And what really put him over the top was when he discovered that by adding magnesium carbonate to the salt, it stopped it from clumping in the humid weather. And that gave birth to the slogan, Morton Salt, when it rains, it pours. Now, Joy did open the Arboretum in 1922. He had started buying up land around here in 1909, 1910. And he knew he was 67 at the time, and he knew he wouldn't live long enough to see a lot of the trees he planted become mature. But he wanted to leave this legacy for us. Now we're climbing up what's called Frost Hill. So when Joy likes to name things, and he named this Frost Hill because he felt like this was temperature-wise the coolest place on the property. And I like to think it's also one of the coolest places on the property. Right over here you're going to see Frost Hill. Does anybody come to the Wednesday night concerts to hear some music? I know that Brenda does back there. But Frost Hill is a beautiful view. This is a great place for a sunset. Our Wednesday night concerts, the band is right there on the Tram road that we came off of just now. And if you look way out over that lake, Meadow Lake, you see some very tall pine trees up top there. That's still the Arboretum. The Arboretum is 1,700 acres. We have 9 miles of roads that you can ride, you can drive, you can ride your bike on, and you can run on. And we have 16 miles of wood chip paths that you can walk and hike on. To the right here is our conifer walk, which you can get to either if you come up here and park in Parking 3, or you can just come up from Cadence, the Sandhill Crane, or from the Children's Garden area. And you're going to see Generosity of the Deer on this road right here, off to your right. I'm going to point out some of my favorite trees as we drive along here as well. Up here on your left and your right, you're going to see 2 trees, or actually 3, that have cinnamon-colored bark. And these are called paper-barked maples. They're not birches, they are maples. And they were thought to be extinct for a long time. They are from central China. And they became available again. And these are old, they're very small, slow-growing trees. These are 67 years old, these trees. And I did buy one at the Arbor Day plant sale about 7 years ago. and planted it in my front yard. I have a very small lot. And my tree is no bigger in diameter at this point than a silver dollar, but it is very healthy and hardy. It's perfect for a small landscape. We're now entering our rose collection. Now the rose collection is the largest collection of plants that there is anywhere of all the plant families. So roses include things, of course, like roses and crabapples and apples and peaches and plums and cherries. Pretty much anything that blooms that is a woody plant is in the rose family. Now, by the way, if you're coming up to see Spectra, the brittle button snail, this is parking 4. I recommend driving up, parking in 4 before you make it up that hill. So crabapples are this nationally recognized collection that we have here, and you can tell the difference between a crabapple and an apple by its size. An apple is more than 2 inches in diameter, and a crabapple is less. So way up on the hill over here, you're going to get a great view of Spectra, our brittle button snail. Now I got to tell you, if you have the gumption to get up that hill, you will be very richly rewarded. The view from up there is spectacular, especially if you're looking into the Arboretum. And if you're an engineering nerd, if you look the other way, you will see a quagmire of roads as well. So that's very interesting. And I would say there's 2, maybe 3 best parts about being up there. Number 1 is the view. Number 2 is there's a great little stand that you can put your phone there and take a selfie. And number 3 is it's a downhill all the way back. So it's easy to get back. So on the right we have a really cute, I call it the apple arch. It looks like an apple arch to me. So that's a really great place to sit down, just enjoy the view, have a snack. And right next to that is Crabapple Lake. You're still getting a nice view if you look crane your necks out to the right, way up right on the hill of Spectra. But this is one of 8 of our man-made lakes. This is Crabapple Lake, and it was dug out in order to create that berm that Spectra is now sitting on. And that protects us from a lot of the debris and pollution from I-88. Now, when we were building Spectra, we did have emergency services were called. Somebody had reported, they were on the highway, and they reported that a hot air balloon had crashed up there, but it was just Spectra. On our left is our amazing magnolia collection. Another nationally recognized collection. Magnolias are have the largest flower of any cold hardy tree in northern Illinois, and there are 49 specimens of magnolias here in this collection. Now here we have a turtle crossing sign. We're not sure, but we don't think turtles can read, but we do know that we can read, and so we do save a lot of turtles on this road. They seem to want to be crossing all the time. There's a wonderful marsh here called Crowley Marsh. And then there's a beautiful lawn here. So Crowley Marsh is a nutrient-dense wetland. And so what that is it collects all the rain, holds on to the rain, it acts like a giant sponge. It holds on to the rain and slowly releases it back into the rest of the land. And a lot of things live in a marsh. We've got turtles and snakes and frogs, and birds love to hang out by the marsh. In fact, on the right side of the marsh, next to that lawn, we just finally cut that lawn because we had a visiting migrating bird here. We have over 250 species of birds that either migrate through here or live here. And we had a visiting bird. It was a mockingbird that was nesting there. So we finally just cut that lawn in the last couple of weeks. So when you do get on these roads, you are committed. It's all one way, and 15 to 20 miles an hour is only the fastest you can go. We have 3 routes on this side. This is your first route. If you decide to get on this road or you came up to see the snail and you want to get out quickly, this is your first exit. I love that it's one way and slow, because this is where I taught my 2 now grown daughters where to drive. I brought them here for the specific reason that you could only go 15 and you could only go one way. So it got me used to having the kids on the road behind the wheel. It's way more fun than the cemetery too. So here we are in the nice shaded area, so we're going to spend a minute or 2 here. On the left we have what looks like waste receptacles. Those are not trash cans. If you're hiking around here, please do not put anything in there. That's where our scientists collect leaves, and then we look at them, we check out the health of the canopy of our woodland here. Next to that are PVC pipes, Then we put cameras down and we look at what's going on in the roots of the trees. Are there any invasive bugs down there, or what's going on in there? So, place for research there. Anybody here from Ohio? Usually you. Oh, right. We got your state tree right here on the left. This is the Buckeye tree, right? So Buckeyes, they have big walnuts or big nuts on them, and if you crack them open, the Native American stuff, they look like the eye of a deer. And the Buckeyes are the first to get leaves in the spring and the first to turn color and die off in the fall. I'm going to pull over right here real quickly because there's a tractor that needs to get by. I do want you to remember parking 6. I was telling you earlier, I'd tell you about some good hikes. So we are right here in our linden collection. And the bees love them. They pollinate them. Again, another nationally recognized collection. They pollinate the trees in the springs. They flower. And so a little further up, you're going to see a pergola. It's a honeycomb. Looks like honeycomb. It's really cute. And you can sit there and just enjoy nature. But if you remember, parking 6, remember this pathway. So you're going to take this wood chip path until you want to take your first right. And then, I'm going to tell you what I like you to see. I'm just looking to see how many cars are coming. In back of that honeycomb structure, there's a little place, a little hidden gem, I like to call it. It's called the Burr Reed Marsh. Like Burr Ridge, only Burr Reed. And so it's there's a bridge over that marsh, and then there's a little lookout you can stand on, and I love it back there. I see lots of little colorful birds that I don't normally notice anywhere else on the property. That's a really cool place to go and just check it out. I see different wildflowers back there. Really lovely area. Check it out. Now we have our internationally recognized oaks collection. This collection was deemed the most significant and important collection of oaks in the world in any botanical setting. There are 21 oaks that are native to northern Illinois, and our state tree is the white oak, which is right here on our left, and it's also in our Arboretum logo. Now oaks get to be about 500 years old, and these are anywhere, some of them are anywhere between 150 to 200 years, so they're just teenagers right now, but they're a beautiful collection. Now, if you get the chance, sometimes you can find a bench like in the middle of this oaks area that says strength. It's very low to the ground, so sometimes it's hard to spot. Oh, I see it right now on the left, low to the ground. Once I pass these oak trees, you might see it way out there on the ground. That's a great photo op. So right here we have, I'm going to pull over for this car. On the right we have our tree breeding nursery. It's not on your map, and please don't go over there because it's an electric fence. I don't want you to get hurt. But this is where we do a lot of science. We've got botanists and scientists that work on cultivars of trees. So a cultivar tree is basically a GMO type tree. And that's where our scientists get together and they take the flower of one tree and the pollen from another, and they put them together, and in the fall they see what kind of seeds we get. And then we'll plant thousands of seeds to see what comes up. Now we have 3 examples of right here next to me. These are cultivars. These tall, slim trees right here are cultivars of the Kentucky coffee tree. And no joke, these are called skinny lattes. Yes, our botanists do have a sense of humor. And so we do have a consortium of 3 groups of institutions. We've got the Morton Arboretum, the Chicago Botanical Gardens, and the Northern Illinois Ornamental Growers Association. And the 3 of us created this thing called the Chicagoland Grows Consortium. And so we're creating trees that are pest resistant, right-sized, and cold hardy. And as we go along our tour today, I'll point out some of those trees to you. Right side is our wonderful Center for Gateway to Tree Science. We have an amazing tree over there that's on its side. Some of you might have gotten a glimpse of it. I'll take a little tour through this area here. But this is 17 stations of information about learning about the work that we're doing in the urban and suburban landscape. So on the right we have a tree that's been there quite a while. It's turned over for you to get an idea of what the roots of a tree look like. It is an amazing thing thing to do. This is parking 8, by the way. I recommend coming up here and going over to look at that. You can see all the ribbons of the roots. It's very cool in there. I just a really fantastic display. And then here we have a little shaded area. A lot of people come up here to picnic. They'll either tailgate or just come over here underneath this little pergola and picnic. And also, I just want to let you know that this is all wild back here. There's no place to get water or food or anything here. So if you want to hike, definitely bring your water. 2 places on the property to fill up. It's the visitor center where we were, and on the west side, Thornhill Education Center. And this happens to be the trailhead to my favorite hike on the east side. This is East Loop 4. And you'll go on this trail right here and head straight east, and then you'll be coming up where that orange truck is working, up from there, and right back here to parking 8. And I'll talk a lot more about that trail as we go. My favorite hike here on the east side. Trying to avoid all those potholes. Your hardest ride will be almost at the end of our trail ride. The one road is tough. So you'll be coming back up where this orange truck is. Just taking care of some trees. It might be, oh yes, we did have a tree that fell right across the path there. We saw them working on that earlier today. So you're going to notice a big difference on the right side and the left side. The left side is wild, and we're letting it go wild. We're just going to observe that for years and years to come. On the right side is a managed woodland. So what that means is, what we do here is we have over 1,200 volunteers that do a wide variety of things. We have some very hardy souls that come out here, and they pull out all the invasive weeds and plants that are in there. And then we slow control burn it. We control this, and then all that ash sits right there on the forest floor. It takes out all the honeysuckle and buckthorn. Here in Illinois, we don't have the same animals and insects that like to eat that. So it just grows wild and it becomes invasive. That's how plants become invasive. There's nothing around to manage it. So then that lets the sunlight hit that floor, and then all these beautiful wildflowers pop up. It's wonderful there. Now, we do have 3 loops here. The second loop here, those of you, I see there are very many members here. Those of you who are not members, please come back in the fall. This is a must drive in the fall. And it is quite beautiful now too. Any time of year, it's a canopy of color. Right now it's green. In the fall, a little later in the fall, that's where maples live. A little later in the fall, so the sun hits those leaves, you'll see a beautiful canopy of gold there. If you're talking about the definition of a woodland, so if you've got 10 to 50% of an acre covered in trees, it's called a savanna. And if you've got 50 to 80% covered in trees, it's called a woodland. And any more than that is a forest. So this 400 acres of East Woods here is all mostly savannas and woodlands. You can take your own Ansel Adams photo right here. If you take a picture of these trees and turn it black and white, got your own knockoff. This is a beautiful time of day to come through here. You see the sunlight dappling all along the plants, all along the trees, and the roads and things. Beautiful time of day to be here. Now, how many of you came here during cicada season? Anybody? No. Oh, that was really fun. Cicadas, I can just give you a tip. When you're hiking during anybody's cicada season, stay in the shade and stay in the woods. They don't see very well. They can't. They don't notice you. They're in the trees doing what they do. And then if you hit the sunlight, as soon as you hit the sunlight, they're on you. Anything tall, they think is a tree. But here you can see on the right side, we can see a lot of cicada damage on these couple trees out here because they are in the sunlight. The cicadas can find them easily. So as you're on that hike that I recommend, you're going to be going along those wildflowers here, and then you'll be crossing the road right in front of us here and heading to the left. You'll notice here that we have a lot of logs we leave on the ground, and that's just nature's recycling. Some of us like to call it the FBI is watching the forests. It provides fungus, bacteria, and insects that are good for the forest floor and habitats for all our little animals. We have all sorts of animals here, a ton of coyote. We have squirrels, chipmunks, rabbits, mink, all the usual suspects, skunks, and those kind of things. It's all here. On our way to the next place, I have a little poem for you. Where do you go when the world seems awry? Things maybe you're brimming with a joyful energy and you're looking for somewhere lovely to be. There's no reason to hide. We were born to be outside. You can come here to this strong and safe place where the seasons unfold with a peaceful grace. Time in the woods is the best therapy around, where nature's nurturing songs will abound. Like the rush of the wind through early summer trees, or the whimsical crunch of October's leaves, or the symphony of birds as they glide through the air. Soon you'll be breathing calmly without care. Maybe you'll think of how we're all woven together and take care of each other no matter the weather. And if you want to discuss what's deep inside me, talk to the trees. They will always agree. And right now we're in one of my most favorite places. This is where our little maples live. These are sugar maples, can grow in the shade. So, but they just don't get fat and big. They stay real slim. So the maples here, they have a different branch structure. They're like their branches kind of like spread way out. So they're just trying to get that little dapple of sunlight so the leaves can come out. So these are beautiful. We have so many of them. And in the fall, like now they're a canopy of green. You're going to see a canopy of gold here. It's just amazing. It takes over 30 gallons of sap to make maple syrup. So we don't make maple syrup here, but we do make honey. And we sell that in our shop. So if you're on the hike, I recommend. On the left, you'll see a cute bridge. Next to that bridge is a cute bench. And then on the other side of that bench, there's a tree that's kind of hard to see from the tram, but it's got really cool roots. They look like all these little tunnels. And I always like to imagine like gnomes or fairies leaping out to say hello to me and then going back inside. It's really cool. And give you some air conditioning here. Now, if you're on the hike, you'll be crossing the street here, heading to the right, and making a big U-turn. And if you're done with the hiking in the woods, you can always just make a left and come this way. Now, in around 1923, a lot of this area was farmland, and Joy, ever the entrepreneur, decided he wanted to plant a lumber crop. So we planted Norway pine, spruce here, white pine, trying to create a lumber crop. Well, of course, by the time that trees got large enough, the Great Depression hit. So there was no more building boom, but instead what was left is this gorgeous, and I believe must-see area. This is called our Spruce Plot. On the left, and if you get the chance ever, you should go in there. In fact, if you don't feel like hiking, that's where you're going to start making your way back up to your car through the Spruce Plot. But you can also just forget the hike, just come here to parking 12, park here, and you got to go the full loop to get here, by the way, the loop 3. Just go on in there. It is amazing in there. The canopy, if you look straight up, the canopy is so pretty. It's about 10 degrees cooler in there. The scent is different. There's rock formations in there that sometimes people will stop and write encouraging little words and pine cones there. It's a popular spot for engagements as well as family photos. So I definitely recommend coming here. You don't have to walk it if you don't want to. Just park over here at 12 and walk right in there, walk out. It's a must-do experience here at the Arboretum. We have our Big Rock Visitor Station. What's great about this area is not so much the rock, although that's cool too, but it also has my second and third favorite hikes. The Woodland Trail is on the right in this area, and it's only a half a mile around. And then the Heritage Trail is here also. But about 14,000 years ago, 14-ton granite rock was deposited here by a mile-high glacier. And we know that early settlers didn't bring it because there's no way you could take a horse and buggy to drag a 14-ton piece of granite through here. We know it's not from Illinois because Illinois' bedrock is limestone. So it is over there. It is cool to look at, fun for a photo op. It's a little bit ways in there, but these two hikes are really nice. They're almost all completely shaded, as well as it's very hilly as well. So if you don't like a lot of hills, maybe not the hike for you. But the Heritage Trail, there's a lot of places you can branch off to and make that longer if you like. Really cool place. In the springtime, the froggies are in here in the lowlands, and they have a little concert of frogs in there. It's very cool. Across the way is a little picnic area and a word play. You can make words out of rocks. Reconstituted marsh. So about 15 years ago, our lawn crew was out here and they ran into what we think was some rudimentary drain tile. So it was a happy accident. We took out all that drain tile and what came back was this lovely marsh. And right away, all these plants came back, these beautiful wildflowers. There's lots of butterflies around here right now. This is a nice hike up from the maples. This is our nationally recognized maple area. But this all went right back to being natural, and it really helped with some water problems that were going on around here too. Really beautiful area to come through, and if you love to photograph nature, a nice area to do so. So on our left is what happens to a maple tree when it gets plenty of room and plenty of sunlight. That is one giant maple tree. It's actually two maple trees. When they were little, they were planted right next to each other and they grew together. So that, of course, is our showcase tree in the fall. Beautiful. This is another, of course, beautiful area. This is our maples collection. On our left is our beech collection. Now, all the animals here at the Arboretum, beech nuts are their favorite food. So I'm going to point these out to you. This is the reason I want you to go into the ground cover garden if you have time afterwards today. These are beech trees, and their bark is so smooth, it's like an elephant skin, so beautiful. And they actually were, there's early Sanskrit writings that are still exist today that were made on beech nut bark. Now the difference here, we got a copper beech, so in the spring, the copper beech's leaves come out red, and in the fall, they turn green. So in the ground cover garden, we have these two massive beech trees. You can't get your arms around it. They look prehistoric to me. So if you're by Scamp the Squirrel, you're going to take a left and then a quick right into the ground cover garden. And they are beautiful. We have a weeping beech, and then we have a copper beech there. You're going to be amazed at how pretty they are. And looking at their bark is very interesting. Temperate woodland here. We have all typical trees from northern Illinois. We've got red oak, white oak, ironwood, basswood, wild black cherry. The one thing you won't see here are hickory trees. But I will show you a lovely small grove of hickory trees later on the tour on our way back to the Tram circle. Hickory trees were used by, over-harvested basically by the early settlers. Early 1800s is when people settled here around different groves of trees. And hickory wood is super hard and super high BTU. So they used them for everything. They used them for making their tools, their wagon wheels, their homes. They burned it. It could burn really hot and really slow. So they were really over-harvested here. Now, there are over 50 communities in Illinois that have the name Grove in them. Does anybody else live in a grove? I live in Downers Grove. It's an unfortunate name, but we were all very happy there. Pierce Downer was our founder. We are no relation here at the Arboretum to Morton Grove. So here's a road that you come out for that very first loop. And this is also the way you get to our Appalachia collection, which we have a brand new ADA compliant pathway there. So a good place to come if you're unstable on your feet. It's all paved. So you're going to see different kinds of plants that are typical in the Appalachia area. We've got a beautiful white pine up here on our left, I'll show you, and some azaleas. Here's the new parking area for this path. So a nice place to go. Nice, beautiful walk. The left is a beautiful white pine. Now azaleas love white pines. They love to live under the white pines. They like the nutrients from the sap. So you'll oftentimes see azaleas under a white pine. Now white pines can get up to 200 feet tall, and they were commonly used as sailboat masts back in the day. Up here on our right, we have a pawpaw tree. And this is very interesting. I understand there's some at the Napier settlement in Naperville as well. So it's the tree on our right with the leaves pointing down like teardrops. They're really pretty tree. And they fruit. They bear fruit that looks like big pickles, and usually around August. And from what I understand, the fruit drops from the tree very quickly. And I guess it's not very stable, but it sounds like it's delicious. It's very sweet. When you open it, it's like a banana consistency. You won't find one in the store because the fruit just it goes away very quickly. Everybody okay? I feel like I heard somebody drop something. You didn't drop anything on a tram? Okay. Okay, here we're heading into one of our very earliest collections, 1925. We started the Central Asia collection of plants. And if you put like a little string around the globe, we're basically the same longitude, latitude as Central Asia. So here we have another one of my favorite trees. This is called the Dawn Redwood. It's a sister to the California redwoods. Beautiful tree, thought to be long extinct. And then in mid-1940s, scientists in central China found one, and we planted one here, and it's just really beautiful. Another one of my favorite trees, the Dawn Redwood. Now coming up here on your right, you're going to see Joy's favorite tree. Joy was quoted as saying, "The Arboretum is a ginkgo, and a ginkgo it shall remain," meaning independent and unique. The ginkgo tree is very unique. It has no known relatives. There's no other type of ginkgo tree. It's this huge, massive tree on your right here, sitting next to the oak tree here, but it's a beautiful tree. The leaves are interesting. They look like little fans. I'm sure many of you have seen that logo, especially all over the Arboretum. The ginkgo leaf, there's a carbon-dated fossil dated back 200 million years. So we do think that ginkgo used to be used as dinosaur food back in the day. But it is a beautiful tree. There, like I say, no known relatives. There's no other. There's not like like you have a Japanese maple or this kind of maple or red oak, white oak. Just ginkgo. That's it. And here also on the right we have our wonderful elm collection. This is a lovely walk as well. Many of you probably heard about or lived through the Dutch elm disease. The elms are on every parkway at one point, and it's the 15th most common street name that there is. So, it wiped out all our elm trees, but we do have a few that survived in here. They're over 100 years old. They're beautiful. And then I don't think we learned a lot now. Landscape designers will call that a monoculture of plants, because what happened after that was we decided to put ash trees in, right? So what happened to all the ash trees? They are goners. They also died. So then they came up with an intricate equation, and the bottom line is no more than 10% of one specific plant should be planted in any one landscape. And so they just kind of proved to themselves that diversity is just as important in the plant world as it is in the people world. So just kind of enjoy that diversity. We're coming up here. Oh, we also have Dr. George Weir, who created 5 types of elm trees. I'm going to show you one of them here. He was one of our doctors, and he created elm trees that were right sized, pest resistant, and cold hardy. I'll show you those in just a moment. On the left, you're going to see a great view of Nimbly, the blue dasher dragonfly. Now we're going to get an even better view of Nimbly on our way back because we're going to be closer to the road. But you see people are stopping their cars in order to get out and take pictures. You could just go to the lake. But dragonflies are interesting. They're reciprocal predators to frogs. So when dragonflies are nymphs, they feed off of tadpoles. And when tadpoles become froggies, they feed off of dragonflies. It's the circle of life. Coming up on our parking area here, beautiful parking lot. You know that if you come to a wedding or a special event here, you got to wear your flats, carry your heels. It's almost impossible to walk through here all dressed up. Our parking lot's made of interlocking permeable pavers with very fine gravel. And then in between each group of parking spaces, we've got bioswales. They're planted with specific plants that filter out pollutants. And the water runoff from here goes into our Meadow Lake and also the DuPage River. Now here on our left, at this intersection, on both sides of this little intersection, this is an accolade elm. And this is created by the Chicago Land Growth Consortium by our own Dr. George Weir. Both sides have the accolade elm. Now we are halfway done with the tour, a little more than halfway done. Is there anybody that needs to get off the tram for any reason whatsoever? Is everybody good? Okay, we're going to keep going. And we also are going to say, when we go underneath the bridge here, we're going to say happy birthday, Wesley. It's Wesley, right? We go under the bridge, Wesley. So it's going to be a little echoey. Not as echoey as normal because there's fabric on the bridge for the 53 repairs. There's Colin out there still cutting on. All right, I'll let you know and we'll say it. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday, Wesley! Happy birthday, Wesley! Woo! All right, we're on the west side, possibly my favorite side. This is where Joy was born on September 27th, 1855. So Joy, in my opinion, is a mid-century modern of his era. And so he was an early adopter to the automobile, or of the automobile, and he and Margaret would take drives out here. He fell in love with this property. It was all farmland until 1922 when he opened the Arboretum. Started buying up all the property around here. And just beautiful. I'll tell you more about that in a little bit. We are now going over the east branch of the DuPage River. You can see the reflection of the clouds in the water here. It's quite beautiful. Going slow because these are wicked bumps here for the tram, so I apologize for the bumps you'll experience. I do love this hike here. I park up here at 19 and I come back and take this hike all the way around those trees. Not great on a hot day because you're not in the shade a lot. Then you're going to go all the way up around the Vernal Education Center, come down the Joy Path, hit the river, and come back up to parking 19. It's a great hike on the west side here. On the left is our flowering trees collection. Way out there, we've got some magnolias that are magnificent in the spring. And right here in 1980, we took part of a national crabapple study. And people all over were studying these particular cultivars of crabapples for their showiness, their hardiness, and their pest resistance. And that's what's here now. And they do look spectacular in the spring. Now, Joy's first architect was a landscape designer named O.C. Simons. And O.C. is responsible for the Chicago Graceland Cemetery, as well as parts of Lincoln Park. Now, O.C. had a very unique way of landscaping. He would go to local farmers and he would say, hey, can I take that tree that's in bush or whatever that's randomly growing in your field? And they were like, yeah, take it, because we don't want to have to dig it out. So he would take that and he would pepper them into already existing landscaping, and that would make just such a beautiful display of natural looking landscape. Now on our left coming up, we have Joy's final resting place. He's resting here with other family members, And you can certainly walk up to that wrought iron gated area and check it out. And we like to think that Joy is still watching over us, and hopefully he approves of how we are all lovingly caring for his legacy. And I always like to, when I pass here, thank him for giving all of us generations of joy. Thanks, Joy.
Thank you.
Now, on our left right now, you're going to see where his home was built here in 1910. This is not his original home. His original home looked like Swiss chalet type architecture, and it was so structurally unsound that before his passing, he passed in 1934. He asked that we take that down and build an education center. And so right now you see some kids out there for science camp. But in 1940, we acquired our very first person who was our educational director. Her name was May T. Watts, and she started our first formal education program. We now have well over 50,000 students that come through here, adults and children, and then we reach out to schools too in the area, about 20,000 schools, kids in the area. This used to be known as Hawthorne Farm, and on the left here you'll see two hawthorn trees that are still here. These hawthorn trees, their thorns are so sharp that the Native Americans used them as sewing needles. Now we had three tribes that didn't live here until the Chicago Land Treaty of 1893. They moved out to Nebraska and Kansas, and that was the Potawatomi, the Chippewa, and the Ottawa tribes. And once Joy found out that these tribes lived here, he was adamant that we did not profit from any of their artifacts or things. He said if we had found any of them, we send them right back to the rightful owner. We don't try to sell them oh, we can't go through there. Okay. I wanted to take you through there, but today we cannot. It's blocked off. This is a wonderful area to go to. I want to point it out real quick. By the way, if you can't get into Thornhill, we have an outpost building over there that has, on the right, that has indoor plumbing as well as water to fill up. And on the left here, we have our beautiful fragrance garden. I sure wish I could drive you through there, but right now we can't. You park up here and go in there. That's a real favorite place for small wedding ceremonies. It's got water features. And some of you will be able to read that sign where it says Joy Path. And you'll be able to go on the Joy Path, take a walk. That's a beautiful walk. And here in the corner, you can get a glimpse of what used to be, it's still the original part of Joy's home. It was added on in 1923. It was his library, and now we call it the Founder's Room. It's a beautiful room if you get a chance to go check it out. Great place for wedding ceremonies. I was married there in 2007. Very fun day, and we had our reception in the Arbor room there. Now, I retired early from Downs Corp, and my husband retired early from ComEd. He was a ComEd lineman for 37 years, and he also works here. He's part of the lawn crew. And so when he's out there, a lot of times you'll see him. He's one of the guys that are cutting the berm. And when he cuts the lawn on that big tractor, it rustles up a lot of the mice and things like that. So he has animals that follow him, usually coyotes and hawks. And the coyotes come out and they do the little leap. They try to, we have a rabbit here, we don't want to let the rabbit cross the road, there it goes. It leaps and then grabs a mouse and flips it in the air and has its lunch. Then he's got hawks that kind of glide right next to him and they swoop down and they get their lunch. So it's like Dr. Doolittle out there on the berm. Over here on the right side, the other side of this wooded area would be our daffodil glade. Has anybody come out to the daffodil glade? I know some of you have. But the daffodil glade, you guys have to come out if you can. In mid-April, that's usually at its peak. By the way, you can go on our website. It's got a color report all the time, either fall color or the blooming report. It's on our website, so make sure you check it out. But it is like the land of Oz over there. You've got a carpet of orange, yellow, white, narcissus, and daffodils, and all sorts of beautiful flowers there. It feels so good to see that in the spring. After a cold winter, it's some of our first flowers. So you'll notice here on the left, this was all Joy's backyard. Joy had two children. He had Sterling and a daughter named Joan, and she married and became Joan Putahee. So you'll see some other things on her property that are named after his children, such as the Sterling Library and the Cudahy Conference Room. But was their backyard. And one day he said, "Oh, Margaret, I want to give you a gift." And so what he did was he decided to build a lake for her. So this was the very first man-made lake. All of these trees you see here were some of the very first trees that were planted here about 100 years ago. So he had drag horses, because you can imagine there was no, it looks like it's raining. There was no heavy equipment back then. So he had draft horses come and dredge this all out and push all that soil up to the left side up where those conifers are. Now it's really fun to look at this lake in the rain, I gotta tell you, because it looks like little things are sparkling there, and you still see the reflection of the trees in the lake. So it's a great time to come here. So this lake was built for Margaret as a gift to her. And so this is where the family will come and hang out. Now this is a really nice little hike around this lake, but I must tell you, you do need good shoes for this, especially if you're hiking right at the base of the lake. There's two levels of trails on the other side of the lake. One's up top by the road and others down at the lake. It gets muddy, so it will be muddy almost all the time. And then at the top of this lake, you might be going over some flagstone which might have water on it. So you do need stable shoes and some really good shoes. So there, I also want to point out real quickly, there's a huge maple tree right on the bank of the lake there, that if you get a chance to come here and park and go look at it, gotta look at the roots of that tree, because you can't see it from here, doesn't do it justice, but you see all the ribbons of the roots like going into the ground, and then in the fall, and even now, reflection from that tree is very cool. It's a really cool thing to go look at and experience. All right, so now we're going to go through some of my favorite conifer trees. These are larch trees. Larch trees are on the right and the left, so take your pick. These are deciduous conifer trees, which means they lose their needles in the fall and they get them back in the spring. And owls love larch trees, so once in a great while you might spot an owl or hear a hoot. But owls, of course, are nocturnal. You don't see them, but cool little grove of larch trees. On the right, we have this is a great parking spot. This is for Sterling Pond, but a great place to either, Sterling Pond is a super quick little walk up this little wood chip path, and a lovely little body of water. Great place to go, just it's nice and quiet, go to contemplate the world out there. And then you can just come back here and walk this lake. I'm going to try to go slow, but usually during the rain you don't see the fish here because it makes it a little, murkier in the water. So we'll go slowly to see if you can see any fish left or right. You can usually see, sometimes see some big carp. I see one on the left here. The right, I can't see over to the right, so I'll have to take your word for it. You see one? Trying to scoot over to see one. Got it? Alright. And then in the middle of this lake, we have a little place called Turtle Island. Now, they're not usually out sunning themselves on these hot, hot days, but in the early days of summer, later days of spring, you'll see, on any given day, you'll see turtles out here. Sometimes, 8 in a row off a log, just hanging out on any given log, on any of our lakes, really, they like to hang out. Lots of turtles. So I know I don't think there'd be any out today. Just too hot for them right now. Now there's a little bridge up here at the top of this lake that's fun to stand on. We can't go over it because we're just too heavy for this particular bridge. A normal regular car can do it, but not this truck. So if you have a minute to come over here and stand over the bridge, it's kind of fun. There's beautiful views of the lake, looking backwards here. And then there's a little spillway here, and that goes into a little retention area at the bottom. And it's really fun because at the bottom of the hill, sometimes you can see them, not now because it's so leafy right now, but sometimes there's a blue heron or egret that's just sitting at the bottom of that hill, just waiting to catch their lunch. Kind of funny. Now here we're heading over to Bobolink Meadow. Bobolinks are really cute little birds. They're little black and white birds, and they really do kind of bop around. And they nest over here in this grass, so this is another reason why we haven't cut this area. We're pretty sure they're done nesting now, but they nest deep in the grass, so that's why that hasn't been cut yet. Now, this is my favorite area to watch the sky. If some of you are like me, you're sky nerds, and you like to look at the clouds and watch this great sunset over here, over by these pine trees, a beautiful sunset. And once in a while, during the supermoon rise, friends of mine and I will come out here and we'll come to this high part of the property and watch the supermoon rise, because it's usually right about the same time as sunset when it's rising. So it's a great place to come. I am a proud member of the Cloud Appreciation Society. I think you can join it for free. People from all over the world share their photos of clouds. Here on the right is another one of Joy's entrepreneurial ideas. Anybody here from Minnesota today? I had somebody this morning. So this is Minnesota state tree. And this is the red pine. The problem is it's Minnesota state tree. It doesn't grow real well here in Illinois. It never got that large. It never panned out for Joy to make that pulp crop, PULP. These pines are self-pruning, so no worries if you notice that they are missing their lower branches. They just grow, they save all their energy to get tall. So he planted 20,000 of them, and we have about 2,000 left. It is very cool over here to watch that sunset. Also on this other side would be Schulenburg Prairie. Ray Schulenburg, back in the 60s, he reconstructed an entire prairie. Illinois used to be 90% prairie. Now we're only 10%. But there's 100 acres over there, and he painstakingly, trial and error, one of the first reconstructed prairies in the area. And it's very interesting over there. If you get the chance to go, you definitely need your bug spray. Now, when I'm hiking around here, long sleeves, long pants, I have bug spray, of course, sunscreen. Just word of warning, we do have those ticks and poison ivy, all the same things that other places have. We are now entering our birch collection. Paper birches don't really like to grow here in Illinois, so we're really working on it. We do have a birch that we did develop here with the Chicagoland Growers Consortium. I call them Dr. Zeus trees. I'll point them out later. But first I want you to take a really good look at this white birch on the side here, on the right side of the, I'm going to go as slowly as I can so you can get a really good look. Here's one of the main trunks facing us. You're going to see about a quarter of the way up, maybe an eighth of the way up. Right by the brushy part on the bottom, you're going to see a face of an owl. And give me a thumbs up when you see it. All right. Very good. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. It's right next to the brushy part. Near the top. Yeah. Now it's like parallel to me, where I'm sitting. A little bit lower. I'm going to try to stop for people taking pictures. It's so cool, you guys. If you look at the barks of any tree, really, you're going to see some cool stuff. It looks like there's a lot of eyes in this one. You see it? So it's really fun. It's kind of like looking at clouds. As you look at the barks of trees, it's fun to see what's inside of them. So here is my Dr. Zeus trees here. These are these rounded birches. So these are called Fox Valley River birches, and they grow like that. You don't even have to prune them like that. That's how they grow. Now on the left, I'm so distracted by the sky today, I tell you guys. On the left, you are going to see our nuts collection. We have pecans, walnuts, butternuts over here. River. Once in a blue moon, we can see a blue heron in the middle of it. But not today. Sometimes he hugs the left bank, so we can check that out. Nope. Our right up here is Arbor Lake. This is our coldest, deepest, biggest lake of our man-made lakes. Now our employees and volunteers are allowed to fish here. And I know somebody else on this tram whose husband also fishes here. A couple weeks ago, my husband and one of our 10-year-old grandsons came and fished here. They had only 2 hours to fish, but they caught 13 fish. They caught all largemouth bass and 1 crappie. So funny. On the right, we have our wonderful greenhouses. If you do come to our Arbor Day plant sale, 75% of what we sell there is grown right here at the Arboretum, and 25% is outsourced. This is a beautiful time to be near the river. You see the weeping willows across the way there. And let's see here. On the right, I want you to notice this huge Mojave maple. Look how beautiful this tree is. That would take up my entire lot in Downers Grove. But I'm going to show you on the way back to the Tram circle a cultivar of that huge Mojave maple. You won't be able to believe it. On the left side here is the end of the Joy Path. And this is where Joy and Margaret would end their nightly walks after dinner. They'd have their driver come back and pick them up and drive them back up the hill. Left is our gotcha plant evaluation area. We tried creating new types of plants all the time. I know right now our scientists are working on a different kind of lilac bush too, so that should be interesting. Lilac bush or tree. So it's very cool to walk through there to see the different things we're trying to create. And this was named after Clarence Gottschalk. He was our second director of the Arboretum. He started working here doing odd jobs when he was in his early 20s. And he stayed here, working here for over 40 years. And on our right, we have a little area called Arbordale with small houses over there. That's where he lived until 1988 when he passed away. And we do still have our visiting artists will stay in those houses when they're doing their sculptures and things like that here. So it's a nice little area for them. Of course, employees own the area. We have about 500 employees. We're part-time, full-time, and seasonal like myself. We're a happy group. We really love working here. And 1,200 volunteers that do so much hard work here. All right, we're going to go back under the bridge. So this time, let's all make animal noises if you'd like. You can make as loud a noise as you'd like. And I'll probably just hoot like an owl. Ready? So we are a 501(c)(3) charity. We receive no federal, state, or local taxes. Our operating budget is mostly gate fees and special events and memberships. So we really appreciate all of you who are here on this trail today. Wonderful. We are governed by 21 trustees. This will be coming up after the next stop sign, the rockiest part of your trip, so apologize for all the bumps that I cannot avoid. And on your right, coming up soon, are the cultivars of that huge Mojave maple right here. There's 4 in a row. 1, 2, 3, 4. They're gorgeous. These are called State Street maples. Really beautiful. We got sycamore trees next to it. Now, sycamore trees look like they're losing their bark all the time, but they're not. They're not sick. They're sycamores. Great view of Nibley, again our blue dasher dragonfly. I'm going to go a little slow, but so I lost most of the people. Blue dasher dragonfly here on the right. People are standing here now. Sometimes you get a shot of it, but that is Meadow Lake. Those of you who don't know about Meadow Lake, it is a great little walk. It's only a half a mile around. Great place to get up close to Nibley. She's got like a on the sides of her, there's bird and frog. So it's fun to see these sculptures up close because of what's painted in some of them. Very cool. So yeah, that's only a half a mile around that lake. I love to come and walk that lake on a Wednesday night concert. I can watch the sunset from there. If you're lucky, you'll see the sun reflecting off of there. And if you're really lucky, you'll see the moon reflecting off of there too. Real pretty little walk. A lot of turtles on that lake, are waterfowl out there as well. Froggies, some of the froggies, if you are walking along the lake, you'll hear like deep throaty, like, you know, not a very good imitator of it, but you'll hear these huge bullfrogs. They sound so big and funny. This lake is especially pretty right now because there's hardly any wind. So it's very reflective. We're heading back to the train circle, so just before I start talking even more, I just want to warn you not to stand up until we come to a complete stop. Got our volunteers out there meeting under the trees. These guys work so hard. Here on the right is the hickory trees I was talking about. It's a great little grove of hickory trees. They're really fun. The little kids during a Wednesday night concert love to run around them. It's really cool. These are beautiful hickory trees right here on your right. That's what was over-harvested in the early days. Now it's a great view on the left of Frost Hill going up, seeing it from this angle. And here you're going to see a great view of the back of Cadence. Really pretty back of Cadence. That is supposedly a mating stance. It looks to me like I've got to go to the ladies. That's a real quick walk over here too. And if you want to walk up to see Generosity, just kind of come here and walk up that hill that way. Children's Garden, you can see how beautiful today our hydrangeas are in peak form this week. You guys picked a great day to come. I want to thank you all for giving me an hour of your time today. I really appreciate you hanging out with me. It's my favorite thing to do is have a captive audience and talk about the Arboretum for a solid hour. So I appreciate it so much. And I hope I pointed out some things that you have not noticed before or want to go back and see. And I wish all of you some very happy trails. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Very kind.
And lastly, we are headed into the gift shop to see what they can show us here. And there is a summer clearance sale right now, 50% off all floral items. And I'll take a few photos of some of the cool finds that this store has to offer. Please like, share, and subscribe.